In the early 1940s, Adolf Hitler's Third Reich controlled most of Europe. Millions had sworn oaths of loyalty to the Führer, and those who refused disappeared. Yet in a small farming village in Upper Austria, one man stood against that tide. His name was Franz Jägerstätter, a farmer, husband, and father of three, who became one of the few Austrians to publicly refuse service in Hitler's army. His defiance cost him everything, but his conscience remained unbroken. Franz Jägerstätter was born in 1907 in the small village of St. Radegund, Austria. He was raised by a poor farming family and received little formal education. Known for his cheerful personality, Franz was also known to be independent, even stubborn. In 1936, he married Franziska Schwaninger, a devout Catholic woman who shared his deep faith. The couple would go on to have 3 daughters. For years, Franz lived quietly, working his land and serving as a sacristan at his local church. But when Germany annexed Austria in 1938, known as the Anschluss, the Nazi flag soon flew over every town and church in the country. Overnight, Austria became part of Hitler's empire. Every citizen was expected to declare loyalty to the regime. Nazi propaganda reached even the smallest villages. And although many Austrians welcomed unification, Franz Jägerstätter did not. He saw the violence, the persecution of priests, and the early deportations of Jews and political opponents. In 1940, he was drafted into the Wehrmacht, but was later released to return to his farm. Still, the war continued to escalate. By 1943, Germany was desperate for manpower. A new draft order arrived at the Jägerstätter home, this time for good. Franz read the order carefully. He was expected to swear an oath of allegiance to Adolf Hitler and take up arms for the Reich. He refused. He informed his local authorities that he could not, in good conscience, fight for a government that violated the laws of God and humanity. His parish priest, friends, and even his bishop warned him, "Your refusal will mean death." Franz's reply was simple: "I can be free only when I am true to what I believe." On March 1, 1943, Franz Jägerstätter was arrested by the Gestapo. He was taken first to Enns, then to Linz, and finally to Berlin-Tegel prison, where he awaited trial. Prison records show that Franz spent 5 months in solitary confinement. Despite harsh conditions, he continued to write letters to his wife, letters filled with faith and forgiveness. In one of them he wrote, "I cannot believe that we Christians must kill other Christians, even for our country." To the Nazi state, this was treason. On July 6, 1943, Franz was brought before the Reich Military Court in Berlin. He was accused of undermining military morale and sedition against the Reich. He was found guilty and sentenced to death by beheading. Records show he was calm at the reading of the sentence. On the morning of August 9, 1943, he was led to the execution chamber at Brandenburg Prison. He was 36 years old. His final words, recorded by a prison chaplain, were simple. "I am completely bound in inner union with God." After his execution, his body was cremated and buried in an unmarked grave. His wife, Franziska, received only a death certificate. For years, his story remained largely unknown, suppressed during post-war reconstruction. But in the 1960s, historians rediscovered his letters, and his quiet defiance began to gain recognition. In 2007, Pope Benedict XVI formally beatified Franz Jägerstätter, declaring him a martyr for conscience. Today, his name is honored in Austria and Germany as a symbol of moral resistance to tyranny. Franz Jägerstätter's stand was not one of politics, but of faith and integrity. He believed that obedience without conscience is not virtue, it is surrender. While millions followed orders, he chose to follow his soul. His courage reminds us that true heroism is not always found on the battlefield, but in the quiet strength of a single voice that says no. In a time when hatred ruled nations, Franz Jägerstätter refused to hate. His story endures as proof that conscience cannot be silenced, not by fear, not by death, not by history itself. This is the legacy of the man who refused to hate.